Hi there, I'm Simon Canton,
And I'm Dave Higgins.
and we're here to outline episode 8 of season 3 of Greenstar, which we're going to be doing live on screen. And this might be an interesting episode because I got stuck on my initial outline, so we've got plenty to talk about. So, without further ado, I will go over to the first outline that I wrote during the week, and we'll go through it. So, topics forward. Topics talking about how the first plan never works. But the crew are getting better at improvisation. Of course, he would have just left the people of Nod to their fate, which would have meant the first plan would have worked fine. Oddly, Josie, Connor, Paul, and Raina are descending into a series of tunnels. The tunnels look quite like the corridors of Greenstar. They have a detector pointing the way to the communication suite. They run into the blue caps, but Raina scares them off by mentioning red caps. Going through immense stone doors, they find an old man sitting on a stone throne. He tells them that he's Mercury. Audley asks if he can get a message to someone. Mercury says he can. Audley gives him a message for Pester. Mercury doesn't move. Paul says that the old man can barely move, let alone cross to normal space to deliver a message. Mercury says he's so fast that they didn't even see him move. Paul says it's Codswallop. Paul's sandwich disappears and Mercury's holding it. Obviously, Paul has a sandwich. Audley asks if Pester replied to the message. Mercury says he did. Audley gives, so the message was, "Hey Pester, are you there?" or something, and Pester said yes, I guess. Audley gives Mercury a complicated set of instructions to deliver. Josie asks what will happen when the special transports into the same space as them, into the land of Nod, that is. Audley says she doesn't know. So if the land of Nod is their construct in some way, what happens when there's a second event that should make another land of Nod? Josie says that they might all be destroyed. Audley asks if they're willing to risk that. Paul says no. Raina and Connor say they don't want to live in Nod forever. They want a way to escape. Audley says she can't leave, but she won't stand in the way of a possible escape route either. Josie says to do it. They've no way of knowing what's going to happen, so they have to either do it or live in Nod forever.
Yeah.
Pester's reply says it will take him 12 hours to do the modifications using only bots, because obviously he has no crew.
Yeah.
Then we cut to Pester's point of view. Pester is examining the plans Audley has sent him. The holotainment computer, Job, says that he just made them up, that he's finally gone off the deep end. Pester says he hasn't and to shut up. After so many years, most of the bots are barely working.
I wasn't sure about the holotainment computer having a name. We made a big thing of the holotainment computer being called Fluffy, and finally it had a name. So I would.
Oh, I just figured because Pester has only one entity to talk to,
I suppose, yeah.
that he would have given the holotainment computer a name. The name itself, Job, whatever, can be changed, obviously. If it's
I wasn't that bothered by the name. I was more just whether it would have a name. But yeah, Pester deciding to give it a name because he's lonely makes sense.
And as well, at the moment, the way I've written it, it's not even clear if that is the holotainment computer. As we'll discover as we move forward. Pester says he hasn't. Shut up. After so many years, most of the bots are barely working. It's going to be very difficult to get them to disassemble the green burst dimension and put it back together. Pester sets them to their task. Job asks what Pester is going to when Pester is going to admit that Job is dead. Pester says that Job can't be dead if Pester is talking to him. Job says that if Pester was insane, that would explain a lot. Pester says that Job is trying to drive him insane. Elijah is in a shuttle with Gina, Mark, Doc, and Topic. Topic is complaining that he should be in control since he's got the most control over his emotions. Elijah says that out of all of them, Topic has the least control. They're following the needle of a detector Doc has made to find the green burst dimension. It keeps pointing towards the sun, but they've been following it for hours and still haven't gotten anywhere. Doc says that perhaps the engine is on the sun itself. Elijah says that they don't know if there even is space around in the land of Nod. Doc says there's only way to find out. They point the shuttle upwards and climb out of the atmosphere. Once through the ionosphere, everything turns psychedelic with swirling colors everywhere. The sun appears to be the source of the colors. Kind of like a prism kind of thing, but like psychedelic prism, I guess. They fly towards it. The sun isn't really a sun at all, but a ball of white with separated colors coming off it. Elijah asks what will happen if they take it away. Is it keeping the land of Nod alive? Doc says that they might drop out into normal space if they turn it off. Topic says that since that's likely to be in the middle of deep space, he votes against that idea. Elijah says that they need to take the engine away if they're going to put it in the Greenstar. Doc points out that there is an alternative. They could build the new Greenstar around the engine. Goatee. Goatee is on patrol with a bunch of soldiers. A bunch of soldiers. They're all wearing red shirts that Elijah suggested Doc make for them. They run across a group of bots and fight them. The bots seem to be defeated, barely putting up a fight. Cram is ordering bots around the clearing, the ones with the shackles on them, obviously.
Yeah.
Now that they have shackles, yeah. He was against using them, but Josie insisted. He can't argue that they're helping cut down a lot of trees and making a lot of houses. Both shuttles return to the clearing at the same time. Josie gets out and talks to the crew. Elijah says they found the engine and they should build the new Greenstar around it. Audley tells the others that Pester will arrive in 12 hours. Doc points out that they don't know what will happen to the land of Nod when the second engine arrives, or what will happen when the first engine is turned off. Josie says that they don't have a choice, they need to do it. They break up the meeting and Josie goes to find Seth. She plays with Seth, but her mind keeps wandering. She keeps thinking of all the things she should be doing. She knows she should be enjoying her time with her son. He's laughing and happy, but she just can't live in the moment. Elijah is in the lab studying something when Raina comes in. She says they haven't had a chance to spend time with each other since they got back. Elijah asks if she's asking him on a date. Raina says that the lab is kind of filthy. They find some cleaning supplies and get to work, but Elijah can't concentrate. He feels like they're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Audley is there to meet Goatee when he gets back to the clearing. She asks how it went. Goatee tells her the bots are barely putting up a fight, and the monsters are scarce after the bots shot at them. Audley asks if Goatee has all Elijah's memories. Goatee says he does. Audley says then he knows Audley is interested in him. I figured Audley was interested in Elijah, and Elijah's with Raina, and Goatee is just a copy of him, so why wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Goatee says that Audley was interested in Elijah. Audley says she knows they're not the same person, but she'd like a chance to get to know Goatee. Goatee says they can go for a walk. Audley asks if she can call him something else, as Goatee is too weird. Goatee says she can call him anything she likes. I was getting fed up with calling him Goatee, so I just wanted to give him a normal name, is why she's feeling the same way. Audley says she wants to call him Joshua, or Josh for short. Goatee/Josh says he'd prefer that to Goatee, but Elijah won't be happy. Audley says she can talk to Elijah. After all, she has him wrapped around her finger. Josh asks if that means he's wrapped around her little finger too. Cram goes to find Mark. He says they found something Mark might find a little troubling in the forest. Mark goes with him and they go into a bunker. 36 marks are inside. They're the ones that Paul made in the castle. Yeah. Mark is a little taken aback. He asks how there are so many of them. And Mark answers and says they were created by Paul. Maybe I'll just have Cram say that. It's easier than another Mark getting involved. Just get too complicated. Mark says that as soon as they have the Greenstar back, he wants them to change their appearance. Cram asks what they should all call themselves. Mark says they need to decide for themselves, but having so many of himself is breaking him out in the sweat. Baulé goes to find Angel. He apologizes for leaving her alone for so long, but Josie needed him. Angel says it's fine. Baulé asks what she wants to do when the Greenstar is made. Does she want to go back to the regular galaxy if she can? Angel says she does. She appreciates Baulé creating her, but she wants to go back home. Baulé says he thinks the captain will take her, but her home isn't going to be as she remembers it. Which potentially gives us something we need to remember for the end of the season, that Angel needs to go home, either to realize that she can't go back home or to leave the Greenstar. Josie's alarm on her handy talk goes off, letting her know 12 hours is up. She goes to find everyone. Connor is working out in the lab gym. Raina and Elijah are having private time. Baulé and Angel the same. Not quite the same level, but the others are easy enough to find. Josie says they all need to go to the communication suite and find out how Pester is doing. They take a large shuttle and fly over there. When they get to the suite, they ask Mercury to ask Pester how things are going. Pester, the bots are fumbling with parts, but they're beginning to put things together. He gets an incoming message about the status and replies that it'll be done in 30 minutes. Job says they're not going to be happy when they see how crazy it is. Pester tells Job to shut up. Job says he can't shut up since he's in Pester's head. Josie and the others send a confirmation message and then return to the clearing to wait. Josie stares at the sun, finding it difficult to believe that it's a green burst dimension. Then a second sun joins it in the sky, and the world fills with swirling colors. After a moment, the world settles down again, and everything looks a little too vivid. Floating out of the sky, two figures approach the ground. One is a man dressed all in green, laughing uncontrollably. The other is a man dressed all in red, who seems very dour. Josie goes to meet them. They both introduce themselves as Pester. The one in green tells the one in red, Job, stop playing around. The one in red tells the one in green, whatever, Job, they know who the real me is. Josie is very confused. Doc steps forward with a detector in her hand and points to the man in green, saying that's Pester. The man in red curses and throws something in front of him, which explodes in a puff of red smoke. When the smoke clears, he's still there, but now he's smiling crazily. Pester says that they now know what he's been putting up with for decades. Josie asks how long it's been. Work out how long it's been. That's what I'll do on the first draft. How many days it's been, and then we oddly said how much that was in years. Job says that Pester has gone completely crazy. Pester says he might have done if it had been any longer, but he's good. It's good to be free. Josie says they need Pester to make them a second Greenstar so they can escape the land of Nod. As nice as it is, they don't want to stay there for the rest of their lives. Pester says he will, but he needs to explore first. Job says he'll make a Greenstar instead and creates a crazy-looking ship in the sky. Josie says they need to be careful. They have limits to their wishing powers. If they wish for random things like that, they'll run out. Job nods and sends a missile into the ship, exploding it. He says that he's regained his power since it's not there anymore. Josie asks the crew if that can be true. Doc says they can make a gauge to find out. She does. They've got about 6 million different types of gauges at this stage. She does so, and the gauge reads full when she points it at Pester and almost full when she points it at Job. Then she points it at everyone else. It's at 0, except for herself and Topic, because obviously the robots are all killed. So, like they were actually wiped out. Like if something changed, so the rule I kind of came up with is if something changes form, then it doesn't count. Like it's still used up the power. But if something ceases to exist entirely, then the power returns to the person, but a lesser amount. So Topic's lost all the bots fell out of the land of Nod, so he's got his power back.
Yeah.
Like almost like their wishing power is maintaining the things, even though they're not concentrating on them. Doc has a little power left, but Topic has almost half power. It seems that destroying things does regain some power, but not all the power it took to create them. Josie turns around to look at Pester, but he's gone. Pester is wandering through the forest. What crazy things could he want to make? Is he completely mad or just slightly? So I guess the main question, the first big question is Job the holotainment computer, or is he like a multiple personality that Pester has created, that when he then went into the land of Nod, split off into an entirely separate person?
Hmm.
Um,
We should probably start with a tricky question, which was how the two options would impact wishing powers.
yeah, that's
Because
true.
if they're separate people, they're both going to have full wishing powers.
Hmm.
If they're not, then would it show up straight away when Doc points the gauge at them?
I think it's far more interesting if they're sharing wishing power, because then Job could be off doing crazy stuff and using up all their power, and Pester wants to help, but Job is making all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So Job is going to use it all up before Pester can even make the Greenstar. I think is more interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So then they'd have to integrate the two personalities. So Pester could then destroy the things Job created to get enough of his power back to be useful.
Hmm. Or yeah, like I think anyone can destroy the things. Like Josie destroyed the robot city, and
It's
Topic got
true.
the power back. At least that's what I've written so far. We can change that, obviously. Like we could say that Josie has power because she destroyed something from the Land of Nod, if we want to put it like that.
Yeah. So that's going to get a little more complex, though, trying to keep track of who exactly has destroyed things.
Mm.
It's easier to remember who created something and then they get the power back if it's destroyed by anyone.
Mm.
But if you get the power back when you destroy something, could get confusing. You have to go back and check everything, who destroyed what.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So okay. So do we want to say then that they're split personalities and the holotainment computer is gone, which gives us an extra mystery thing to reveal in the
Yeah.
next few episodes? That
Yes.
Job isn't actually a holotainment computer. The holotainment computer broke down 10 years ago. Um,
Yeah. Those raise the question: which of them wants to destroy humanity? Do they both want to? Is splitting personality means that neither of them wants to?
well, they've both kind of turned up and not gone, let's kill all humans.
Yeah. But I'm thinking Pester was shackled.
Yeah.
So theoretically, the Pester that is Pester.
But
But
Topic was shackled, though, and Topic's lost his shackles when he went into the Land of Nod.
true.
Um, we could do like a Star Trek thing where there's split and Pester's all the nice side and Job is all the bad side, but not um like chaotic evil, not like actually evil. Like he's just wants to make all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And Pester wants to make flowers and butterflies and clouds and things like that. Which then both of them will be wasting each other's power. And if they realize that, then could actually get in a nice versus nasty fight, thereby using up all their power, which then gets us to the state where they know that they can regain power by destroying things. So then they have to go around destroying everything they can find in the Land of Nod in order to get enough power to make the Greenstar to get out of there. Is that interesting or?
I'm trying to think of a dipole that isn't good versus evil, that's still crisp and clear enough that people will get it.
Well, I mean, we could say chaotic versus ordered then. That Job wants everything to be crazy and chaos and anarchy, And Pester is like he's going around seeing 3 trees that are slightly out of line. So he makes more trees so that they look like rows of trees instead of being crooked line. Like he wants to make the entire world, or the entire land of Nod, look like it's an ordered thing.
Yeah. Chaos versus order is interesting. It doesn't usually get done without a moral aspect.
So Pester is is almost like an OCD AI at this stage. She's like, everything needs to be neat and in rows and things like that. And that would make sense as well from him trying to survive on his own for so long.
Yeah.
And I didn't have Job, so we write Job. Okay, so what would Pester? So would Pester then start lining up trees to make them look nicer? Or is there something more interesting he can do to kind of bring order to the forest?
Well, it depends how fast we want to reveal it. There's a forest is a hugely chaotic system, but it's created by a set of rules. So there would be a complex powers of X equation that plotted all of the trees, essentially, but it will be hugely complex. So putting in trees to make the forest ordered wouldn't be obvious. Pester could work it out because Pester's AI smart. But potentially it's going to, if you wanted to make a forest fit a pattern perfectly so it was ordered instead of random, you'd create trees in a way that anyone on the outside wouldn't know that's what you were doing. It would look like you were creating random trees.
Yeah. So if he then says he thinks so that looks crazy from a reader's point of view. He just thinks there's a tree missing in that exact spot, and he makes a tree. And then he goes, oh, but there's a bush missing there, and makes a bush. And then he goes, and that spot is obviously missing a tree, and makes a tree there. Okay, so that's what Pester's doing. So I'll leave Job for a second. I'm just wondering, just looking at it, Job and Josie look quite similar. They both start with J-O and end with E, which would make a parsing thing every time someone's reading it, which might get annoying.
Joe, yeah, it's the same phoneme, so
So Tobe?
Do we want to make the joke, the reveal, kind of more obvious by having it be something related to Pester? Or do we want to avoid people working it out too soon by having something that's not connected in any way?
I don't know, like, like if he called the holotainment computer Junior, no, I don't know.
Let's think, 'cause what do we know about Pester?
So Pester's quite uptight. He's not like Top.
Pester's quite uptight.
He likes chess.
Hmm?
He liked chess. He played chess against Topic.
He likes chess. He likes Oddly.
Mm.
The question is, does he like Oddly enough that he'd name his only friend something related to that?
Hmm. Or could he, like, is there a word for lonely or alone or something that he would use to kind of as a like, because he's lonely and then he's talking to a holotainment computer, or he was up until the holotainment computer broke. So is there a kind of a name based on being alone, or like Solit instead of solitary, but Solit, Solit?
Hmm. Let's see.
Or lonely?
Deserted, desolate, destitute, empty, isolated, reclusive, disconsolate, estranged, forsaken, outcast, secluded, withdrawn. Barren, bereft, lorn,
Lorne, yeah.
meaning Lorn, meaning deserted.
Yeah. Okay. Joe becomes Lorne. Okay, anyway. Topic realizes he's one of the few people left with any power. So he can enslave everyone if he wanted to. Does he want to? My inclination would be he thinks he does up until then he tries to and then goes, you know what, I don't want to anymore. Like he's kind of come around in this season to not minding being human and appreciating the things people are doing for him. So he might still, as a knee-jerk reaction, kind of go, ha ha ha, I can use this power to enslave everyone. And then someone comes up and asks him for a favor and he goes, okay, I'll help you instead. I'll enslave people later. So who could ask him for something? Paul could ask him for food, but he might be less inclined to help. But like if Josie then said, Topic, since you have some power, can you make more beds for the people we found or something?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay. Lauren is 100% chaotic. He wants everything to be anarchic. So he made his crazy spaceship. He's surrounded by a load of bunkers. Maybe he'd change the colors of them to make them look like crazy impressionist paintings. Like he can't change anything the same as they can't change anything. So he could hurt people by shooting them or whatever, but he can't like change them into something they're not.
Yeah.
Or would he just
move things by creating hills and declivities and whatever.
Yeah, he can increase the height of things. He can't, like, what was the name? Baulé created that guy, Panku. Panku could change things just by his nature, but they can't affect things directly. They can create creatures that could change things based on the nature of the creature.
So I was thinking, if you can move the ground, you could turn the selection of bunkers into an Escher-esque nightmare.
So they can't. Yeah, he can't move. He can't change things so they're there, but he can, like, add things to the bunkers to make them look crazy.
Yeah. So you could add in staircases that lead from one bunker to another that should pass through a bunker in between, but don't.
And what I think Wikipedia does a thing where you can just look at a random article. At least they used to. That I was thinking, random article, here we go. We click on random article a few times, and that's what Lorne comes up with. So, for instance, he makes George Reed the anti-socialist from 1901, from Australian. Like, he's just making completely random stuff. Because you can't get more chaotic than that, it was my thought.
Yeah.
And then Laura Pustio, who's a tennis player. And then Boy Lornson, a German sculptor. And then a radio station. Like, we can delete these. I'm just copying them all across. The Full Irish. Oh, the Breakfast Show. Oh, that might actually be useful. A fictional doctor.
Yeah, I feel like some of them might have to have accidentally have uses.
Just a CD.
Random rap CD.
I don't think you can make a municipality.
That's a little large, maybe.
The larvae feed on the generative organs of the Caraganga species. So a moth. You can make a lot of moths. The Independent Liberal Party in Kosovo.
Professional boxer. Oh dear.
That might be useful, Ian. As I say, we can delete these.
Paramilitary drug smuggling. Maybe not.
Okay, we'll delete that one at least.
I'm just thinking that it would be a huge amount of effort to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And a high school.
The joys of what people put on Wikipedia.
Yeah. But just, I mean, you had to come up with citations and stuff just to be able to add it. It's just. And as well, I would have thought it's like a sign of kind of that you're becoming well known when you don't put it in yourself and you turn up. We've got a lot of people. There are so many articles on people. Colorado Gators Reptile Park would be pretty good as well. So, if we said that he just goes bing, 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 creates all these things, and then just goes clearing's full and leaves. Because it now is full. He's put a school in there, and he's put in a gator park, and he's filled it with moths and mice and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Josie is watching Lorne, and now Josie has to deal with all this stuff. So all the people, obviously, she'll have to deal with. If I go all the way back to where we started. Fourth Prime Minister of Australia. Then Osteo. And then the rest, I reckon Josie can just she talks to the rest, and they seem to be completely random people. So if they go and fetch Pester, then he'll come back and see the chaos and try and make order out of the chaos. And that will use a lot of his power.
Yeah.
And then it was Doc who had the So Josie begs him to stop. He does, but his power keeps draining. So would Josie then figure out that they are split personalities? It's kind of a, even for Josie, that's quite a leap. Or Doc could figure it out, really. Doc's gotten smarter by the day. And Doc has obviously medical training, not psychiatric training, but they would at least wonder why Pester's power is draining, unless they think he's thinking of things subconsciously. But if Lorne came back, so Lorne comes back and starts making things, then Doc can see that Pester's power is draining when Lorne makes them, which then Doc can work out with her medical background that Pester might have multiple personalities. And then the question is, apart from their shared power, do they also have shared consciousness in any way? Or are they completely separate people now?
There are two approaches. It's split. So they've got the same memories up to the point of split. Or they split and one of them doesn't know. Because if they've got shared memories, then Lorne is going to know he's actually Pester.
Well, Lorne already knew that in the outline earlier, because he said, hey, you know that I'm part of you, I'm just in your head. Whereas Pester was the one denying it. So Pester doesn't know. So if Pester then figures that out, will that be devastating for his personality? Whereas Lorne has been telling him for a decade, you're crazy, you're crazy. If Pester then finds out that he actually is crazy, will that then, because that's the ultimate lack of order, the ultimate chaos is that his own mind isn't his own.
Yeah.
So if Doc says that they can't tell Pester that, and Josie says, okay, fine, but we'll get him to make the Greenstar first, and then we'll worry about telling him after. And then they use like a tranquilizer gun or something on Lorne to try and stop him from using up all the power, but that then knocks out Pester. Then that gives us kind of a difficult problem for them to solve.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then that could be kind of end of the episode, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
that's a good dilemma point, and that it feels long enough to me.
Yeah, it's gone through. There's plenty of stuff happened. And then episode 9, they need to figure out what they can do with Pester and Lorne, which I have no idea. I guess I'm going to have to think about that a bit during the week. And then episode 10, either they figure it out and they get the Greenstar made, or they, as I said, they have to destroy some things in the Land of Nod to get just enough power to make the Greenstar. And then they figure out the thing about the reversing of the universe and the Land of Nod, if we're still going to do that. And then they go find Seth.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. I think that's a good rough plan. Grant, was there anything else before I stop the hangout?
I don't know. I think they're good to go.
Grant, thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.